Hello and welcome to another edition of Homefield Advantage on My Local Radio Sports Network show. Elon Olive, Aaron Pulling, Anthony Colasuno, back together again. It's been a minute, but it's good to have this one.
Yeah, it really has been. It's been a long 2 weekends between the Utah State Tournament, the Icebreaker, and also the Wyoming State Tournament. It has been a couple of long weeks for us. I'm sure nobody really cares to hear us complain about it, as you know. It can't ever really be too bad of a week when, you know, what you're doing is just watching sports and calling sports. It's never that bad, but I mean, it's great to be back and great to have a little bit of a lull in our schedule for a split second just to recuperate, rest, and recover, get ready for the next season.
Yeah, and it was a great end to the basketball season, all sides around, and we get a little bit of a week off here, and then it's into soccer in the next couple of weeks, which is going to be a fun time of the year for all of us.
Be a cold time of the year.
And a very cold time of the year. Yes.
Well, we still have some final bows to put on for the basketball season, as we will talk about the Evanston Red Devil boys team and then the Bridger Valley girls team's journey at the state tournaments. Just talk to you about what our thoughts were on those. Also, the 2024 3A conference all conference nominations and awards were released. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But first, the Shrine Bowl rosters were released very, very recently. And, of course, the Shrine Bowl, the coaches were announced back in January. Russell Stimmitz of Torrington will coach to the south. Rob Hammond of Buffalo will coach the north. And for our teams, it's the south where everything is going to be. And we got some kids on there. We got 3 Mountain View Buffaloes and 3 Evanston Red Devils. Let's start with the Buffaloes. Fletcher Black, Carson Erdley, and Kobe Jones.
Yeah, starting out with Fletcher, great O-line and D-line. He's actually committed to play at Chadron College in Nebraska, actually. So he'll have college ball in his future. Carson Erdley, one of the best running backs in the 2A, can run, can catch, and one of the design plays, especially for him throughout the season, was a little pitch pass from Justice Platts right in front of the line of scrimmage. Every time he got that and got the right block from the O-line, he was off to the races, and he actually had like 2 or 3 kick returns on the year as well. So Carson Erdley, a great player. And Colby Jones, a very humble kid, great O-lineman, great D-lineman, and also placed at regionals and first state for wrestling. So just a very athletic, strong kid.
Yeah, and you talk about this Mountain View team. Of course, they went deep into the playoffs, and it's always rewarding when we get to this point of the school year where we're starting to see the rosters come out for the All-Star games. Of course, we've got the Shrine Bowl, which, Aaron, you've been to the Shrine Bowl. You're going back to the Shrine Bowl. Just talk to us about that game and what kind of opportunity is awaiting these young men.
So my introduction to the Shrine Bowl was last year. I believe it was the South winning for the first time in quite a few years, and what was a really good football game. The event is great, just meeting some of the Shriner kids, obviously hearing their stories and what they go through every single week just to, be able to survive. And to hear all these stories, it kind of puts life into perspective, and it's a real great event where, the Shriners do a great job putting on the Shrine Bowl for these kids. It gives them, something to look forward to, and allows a couple of kids. There were some kids that gave speeches last year that blew me away that, I think once they go through what they've gone through, a speech to a crowd of high school football players as well as some coaches, I think, those speeches are much easier, and those kids did a very good job. And I think it's something that you should go to. If you're a football fan and you get one opportunity to go to, say like you're a huge Cohen Morrow fan, spoiler alert, Cohen made it, sorry. But if you're a huge fan of him and the way he plays football, go watch him at the Shrine Bowl. Just go take in the event, take everything in, and it's so rewarding. It's such a cool event.
And you can catch the Shrine Bowl on mylocalradio.com and the My Local Radio Sports Network, and on the radio at KNYN 99.1 FM. On June 8th, we'll have game time closer to then. Well, you kind of took one away.
A third of your thunder.
Yeah, a third of it. Evanston had 3 Red Devils selected. Of course, Cohen Morrow, as you mentioned. Of course, no surprise there. Brady Roberts is also selected, our new now 2-time state champion, as he went and won Roman Greco wrestling a week after winning the high school wrestling. And then Kai Barker also getting in there as well. So you've got that 3 of those big linebackers. Plus, we don't know if Brady's going to play on the defensive side. We don't know if he's going to be running the ball. I hope he gets to run it because watching him run the ball is an absolute treat. Cohen Morrow, he's going to Black Hill State University as a defense player. Haven't heard what Kai's doing yet, but it's really, really cool to kind of see these guys, their high school journey kind of get rewarded with this type of recognition.
And this type of recognition makes these kids' days for the rest of their lives. I remember my teammates in high school, and they would get on all conference lists on Nevada preps.
Yeah.
They would not only just brag about it, but they would check the website every 10 minutes just to re-see their name on the website. So it's just a huge honor, and also that these kids get to play on one of the biggest stages in Wyoming high school football.
Yeah.
One of the really cool things about this that I noticed last year was just player interactions with each other. You got a lot of these kids who have played against each other for 3 or 4 years in high school football, and maybe they've never talked to each other outside of the game, but it seems like the kids get together, get along really well, and you see a lot of rivals, like watching some Cody and Star Valley students talk to each other last year after playing in a state championship game. It was real cool to see them interact with each other and kind of get to know each other.
And then, of course, the game is on Saturday the 8th, but on Sunday the 2nd, we're going to have the Shrine Bowl players come to Evanston, and we'll have an event for them. We'll talk more about that as it gets closer, but it's always fun when the Shrine Bowl rolls around. It's a fun time for our network because we get to broadcast it. We work with broadcasters from around the state. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's always a great show. And Aaron Poling, you're leading it this year.
Oh, boy.
Talk to us about that.
Well, I mean, I'd say I probably was second fiddle last year to having Cody Olson do most of the work. Now I would say most of the work, but lead it because he's done it before. And, I'm excited again. Just everything around it. I mean, the dinner. I never had prime rib before.
I still can't believe that.
I'd never had prime rib before until I sat down for the dinner the night before. And wow, I understand why it's so expensive because if it wasn't, that's probably all I would eat. It was so good. But the football game, too, last year's game, there were some incredible plays. Kid from Lovell last year made an interception while being blocked by a lineman, reached his paw out, pinned the ball to the lineman, and as he was coming down, was able to wrap it inside his arm and get the interception. You're going to see some of the craziest plays that you'll see all year in high school football because it's the All-Stars. It's the best athletes. And, man, it's just so much fun to be there, so much fun to, watch the best players in the state go to work.
Well, and what's crazy is that I think All-Star games kind of get a reputation of being like, oh, it's a for fun game. It's not as serious or whatever. No, these kids want for a lot of these kids, this is the last chance they'll have to put on pads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year I did not get this is for fun. Last year I got the South is sick of losing, and they were there on business, and they stood on business and ended up winning. So these games, they mean something to these kids. I mean, you have Luke Talich last year who, in his credit, was playing in the game, but he was also on his way to Notre Dame
24 hours later.
Yeah, he had a lot going on, but he was still in that game giving his best effort because it's a little bit of bragging rights. And also, as Wyoming, we all know, is not a very overly populated state. So if you're ever coming back to Wyoming, there's a good chance in any of these towns you're going to run into someone that you played the Shrine Bowl with. Yeah. And just having those memories and going out and making it a blast is what this game's really about for the players.
Yeah, and I like how Elon mentioned this could possibly be the last high school football game for some of these kids. And you never know who's watching in the crowd and could come up to you and say, hey, where are you going to school? Or, hey, are you serving a mission? Or anything like that. Do you want to be preferred walk-on? Or, hey, I have one more scholarship offer left. I want to offer it to you because I feel like you can be a good defensive back, receiver, tight end. If you show out in that game, it could just be so much benefits down the line.
And trust me, people show out in this
Yes,
thing. This
absolutely.
It's not a pat on the back. Like, they're all friendly with each other. It doesn't feel like there's a bitter rivalry or anything like that. But kids are going all out. They're going 100%. They haven't played football since September, and they are going to go all out 100% for that one last time.
Yeah, it's also another one of the treats that you get to do is you get to see what all the athletes are doing post high school.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of my favorite parts because it kind of reminds me back to when I graduated high school, and you kind of feel like you have the whole world in front of you. Like you have so much, you have like almost your entire life. You're done with school. Now you get to choose actively like what you do with life, and just seeing what some of the kids decide to do. Some of them went military last year. A lot of them went on to play college football or college basketball, or some of them just went on to go to college. And, it's always fun to see that with these kids.
So when you look at the South team, notable names are actually on the North teams, as all of our guys are on the South. Notable names on the North, actually, you've got Kiefer Dunham from Bighorn, Drew Herman from Bighorn, Gavin Stafford, Bighorn, Will Hammond, Buffalo, Eli Patterson, Buffalo, Lance Rabel, Buffalo, Aiden Dorr, Campbell County, Wyatt Herther, Campbell County, Levi Palmer, Campbell County, Zach Britton of Cody, Logan Class of Cody, Connor Moss of Cody, Wyatt Tremblay of Du Bois, Christian Riley Hewlett, Caden Boyce, Kelly Walsh, Caleb Ortberg, Kelly Walsh, Aiden Kahn, Level, Jared Magnus, Level, Timothy Edmondson, Natrona, Bo Russell, Natrona, Joseph Sanchez, Natrona, North Sides, Natrona, Trey Stenerson, Powell, Derek DeVries, Riverton, Nick McIntosh, Riverton, Ty Sheets, Riverton, Dominic Bertini, Sheridan, DJ Eckler, Sheridan, Alex Hassel, Sheridan, Dane Steele, Sheridan, Peyton Brown, Thunder Basin, PJ Hatzenbuehler, Thunder Basin, Cavante Montgomery, Thunder Basin, Landon Scalise, Thunder Basin, Caleb Kilbride, Tongue River, Cooper Frederick of Wind River. Student manager is Nadine Dunham of Buffalo, and student trainer will be Carson Thompson of Bighorn. For the South team, coached by Russell Stimmitz, it's going to be Ruben Stoutenberg of Big Piney, Zachary Murphy, Big Piney, Mason Counter, Cheyenne Central, Tyler Gayer, Cheyenne Central, Miles Porwoll, Cheyenne Central, Colby Dirks, Cheyenne East, Cam Hayes of East, Drew Jackson of East, Nathan Mirich of East, Colby Olson of Cheyenne East, Jack Dayton of Cokeville, Micah Peterson of Cokeville, Malachi Lennon of Douglas, Trey Rinn of Douglas, Tegan Seeds of Douglas, Quade Jordan of Encampment, Kai Barker of Evanston, Cohen Morrow of Evanston, Brady Roberts of Evanston, Alex McKinnon of Green River, Seth Maxon of Little Snake River, Fletcher Black of Mountain View, Carson Erdley of Mountain View, Kobe Jones of Mountain View, Cale Anderson of Rock Springs, Michael Fagel of Rock Springs, Goodness O'Keer of Rock Springs, Tegan Thompson of Southeast, Jaden Crook of Star Valley, Simon Gaskell of Star Valley, Jesse Levitt of Star Valley, Clay Merritt of Star Valley, Ty Bennick of Torrington, Braden Frazier of Torrington, Bryce Hagar of Torrington, Trey Perriott of Torrington. Student manager will be Destiny Gurman of Green River and Sophie Lemunion of Star Valley. The game is scheduled to be played on the 9th of June. Check that, 8th of June, and we'll have it live on mylocalradio.com and the My Local Radio Sports Network. When we come back, we're going to discuss the state tournaments, the journeys for the Lady Buffaloes, Lady Eagles, and the Evanston Red Devils in Casper. You're tuned in to Homefield Advantage, brought to you by our friends at Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital.
When you have an emergency, choose Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Open 24/7, the professional emergency room staff is trained for trauma, medical, cardiac, pediatric, orthopedic, and obstetric emergencies. Bear Lake Memorial is a critical access level 3 trauma center, offering immediate access to radiology, lab services, surgery, and internal medicine consults. The ER teams are well-trained professionals who are ready to act. When you have an emergency, Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, the most caring hospital on earth.
Out here, we've always worked remote. Out here, stress usually refers to the pull on a rope. Where a stroll in the city is also a stroll in the great outdoors. Where work is a way of life, and life is good. Out here, the backyards are big, and the deals, they're even bigger. This is southwestern Wyoming, and it's where you can get the biggest deals on a vehicle you want with plenty of hometown hospitality. Heritage Auto, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Whether it's for your home, your ranch, your equipment, or your business, when you need propane, count on the best. T7 Propane in Woodruff. The safe and professional team at T7 Propane offers quality product and the most responsive propane service in the area, so you can enjoy the affordability, reliability, and efficiency of propane. For heating, cooking, grilling, motor fuel, and more, count on the team at T7 for your personal or business propane needs. 435-793-4208.
At Reese Auto Service in Lyman, you will find highly skilled mechanics who will get the job done right the first time. They work on anything from light line jobs of tire alignments, suspension work, and oil changes to heavy line jobs of engine replacement, differentials, and all powertrain components. Make sure all your recreational vehicles are working at top speed by getting them checked at Reese Auto Service in Lyman so your time having fun doesn't end early. Reese Auto Service, 541 State Highway 413, Lyman.
We welcome you back to Homefield Advantage. That was Evanston's very own Behold Here's Poison on the bumper, bringing us back. That was kind of a happy accident, but I kind of like maybe using some local music to bring us back on that one.
Yeah, gives these local bands some recognition.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now we talk about the state basketball tournaments for Evanston. The boys made it, and Aaron Poling, I was otherwise disposed, I guess you can say. You went and covered the Evanston Red Devils' journey at the state tournament. Fortunately, the boys, their season ended on Friday in a 61-40 loss to Cheyenne East. But talk to me about their journey in Casper.
Yeah, it started with Laramie on the first day, and you ran into Neil Summers, who I was unaware of who he was, but don't worry, I am fully aware now. 6'8" kid, first touch of the game, he's standing outside of the three-point line, just buries it, and it's like, oh, okay, so the 6'8" kid's knocking down threes. Good luck, as he's got really good touch. He's surprisingly quick, and that's just a really good Laramie team. When you're the 4 seed heading into a state tournament, unfortunately we saw the East 4 seed take out the West 1 seed, but when you're the 4 seed heading into the tournament, you're at a disadvantage. You're playing a really good team, and things are going to have to go perfectly for you to beat them, and it just kind of wasn't in the cards for Evanston this week. I don't think they shot the ball as well as they wanted to, but I mean, their effort was always there. In the third quarter, down big, it was Riker Lind, I believe, it was Jay Hill, that stood right in front of Summers, who was 6'8", 245 pounds, came barreling down the lane in the third quarter. Jay Hill takes the charge. So the effort was there. It's just sometimes in basketball, it's not your weekend, and I think that's kind of what it could be chalked up to for the Evanston Red Devils. They're a young team. They're going to lose some players, but I think this is going to be value experience heading into next year for them.
Any state tournament is valuable.
100%.
Even if you're the 4th seed, you make it. That is a big accomplishment right there in itself. And you're correct. Evanston's going to be returning a good bit of their roster next year, and that's just only going to help them over the summer through summer workouts and watching film and getting prepared for these teams that they're going to face again next year.
I mean, you mentioned Laramie. They won the East. They lost the state championship game by 3 points.
Yeah, Laramie's really good.
I mean, so that's a tough draw to get right off the bat. And it's the first time they've been back to the state tournament since 2020. So none of these kids have ever been to Casper during the playoffs in March. So I think now, especially with those juniors, with Jay Hill, with Riker Lind, with Jordan Mendez, all those big contributors that are coming back, this experience is only going to help.
Yeah, and tournament basketball is much different than, you show up on a Friday night to your home gym, you watch the girls play, and then you play afterwards, where tournament basketball is you show up, you wait, you get ready, and that game before you can go 10 minutes long, like the Star Valley, Cheyenne, I believe it'd be Cheyenne East game went. And it's just a different atmosphere. It's something that you have to learn to play in, and I think it's not easy, especially coming in as one of the lower seeds, as the Evanston Red Devils were the 4th seed, but it's valuable in the sense of they played 2 games. They lost to a team that lost in the state championship game, and then they lost to the eventual consolation champions in Cheyenne East. So, I mean, not a lot to hang your head about. it stinks that you went 2-0, but you went 2-0 to two really good teams, and I thought Evanston played pretty well. The effort was there. It's just shots weren't falling, as sometimes that happens in these tournaments.
Yeah, I was about to say, sometimes it's just, also the other thing is, especially when you transition to playing at the Ford Wyoming Center, those backboards are different than anything else in the state.
Absolutely.
Having all that open air behind it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that everywhere that I've gone in basketball, when you get to these types of buildings where there's just nothing behind, the backboards, usually there's a wall or bleachers or something. And then also one thing that I think gets players too are the multiple 3-point lines. Because you don't play very many games with multiple 3-point lines. You see that line, you're like, okay, this is my mark. When in reality, for the most part, especially on the wing, you're 2-3 steps further back than what you would shoot. And this isn't just Wyoming centric. I've seen this in Michigan. I've seen this in Utah. I've seen this here, where you see that 3-point line and suddenly teams are shooting the ball from 3 feet further than they usually would.
So congratulations to Evanston Red Devils making it back to the state tournament. Great season for them. We'll have an interview with Coach Rob Watsabaugh that airs in our Thursday edition of Homefield Advantage here on the show. Let's go ahead and go to the 3A East tournament, where two separate journeys. Lyman, they lose to the eventual state champions Douglas 59-32. And then get beat by Torrington 50-33. So their season ends there. But Mountain View beats Torrington 46-31, loses to Douglas 67-41, and then makes it to the third place game.
Yeah, we'll start out with the Lady Eagles, and of course, similar story to Evanston. 4th seed out of the West. You're facing Douglas, who's going for their 6th straight state title.
Yeah.
And Lauren Olson dropped 27 points in that game. And
Off night, huh?
Off night for her. And fun fact, she sprained her wrist during regionals and could barely move any of her fingers. So she had this wrap. And you know how NFL players, when they break or sprain their hand, they have a big basically their your fist is just wrapped up.
The club.
It's a club. It's called a club. She literally had a club on her hand, and when other players for Douglas bring the ball, they would throw up numbers for plays. She just threw her fist and just yelled out the play. She just yelled the club, being like, "This is the play, we're running it," yada, yada, yada. And that was, but just, a good season for the Lady Eagles. And then switching sides to the Lady Buffaloes. Won their first round game against Torrington, and it was actually a battle between the two top rebounding teams in the 3A region, actually. Torrington's second in that category. Of course, Lady Buffaloes are first, and tough battle on the boards. Lady Buffaloes won, and then, of course, Lauren Olson goes off for 45 in the game versus the Lady Buffaloes.
So I go under 30 in my first game. I'm really going to make up for it in the Final Four.
Yes. She had 20 points after the first quarter, and out of the timeout, right before the end of the first quarter, Douglas had the ball, and I saw head coach Justin Reddy point to Miley and Addison saying, "Hey, double team Lauren. We know the ball is going to her." Mm-hmm. She hits a step back 3 from about 28 feet out at the buzzer. And that was the statement point. And then she goes off for 45 points. She's now tied for 6th all time in a single game, is on track to break the Wyoming high school scoring record as well,
which is probably set by her own by another Douglas one, Allison Fertig.
Yes, Douglas is just a basketball
factory.
Yes,
there's a factory.
They've won 6 state titles in a row.
Yes, and only had about 7 losses in the past 6 years. Wow. You think of that is stellar. That is not that is a franchise in 3A basketball, not a dynasty. That is a franchise.
And there's not really much you can do when you're putting up 45 points in a high school game. That's 32 minutes. NBA players put up 40, but they put it up in a lot more time on the floor, where this is almost like every possession, it seems like she's making a shot or making a play, and that's disheartening.
Well, and if you put 2 people on her, she just says, "All right, fine, I'm going to step back and drain one from almost the logo," then there's nothing there is nothing more you could have done.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing.
Wow.
Insane player. I talked to some people and said, "Hey, does she have any D1 offers?" And they said, "I believe she has one from University of Wyoming." So
that checks out.
Yeah, UW can't let her get out of their backyard.
Exactly. No,
what year is she?
She's a junior. She's a junior. So she's going to be a senior this next year.
She'll get more offers. I'm fairly certain of it. But for Mountain View and Lyman both, Lyman just got to see her in the first round. So, Lyman got to see a little bit of a muted version, I guess, with only with less than 30 points. But there's not much you can do. You can play the best defense you can. And in basketball, it's an old adage where sometimes just great offense beats great defense. And when it's going like that and a player is able to drop 40 pretty casually, it seems like a pretty casual 40, there's just not much you can do. And, for the Lady Buffs, I thought they've had a great year. They've had some really good battles. They've played some really good teams. They've played some really good players. And, man, they've really hung in there with them.
And moving on to the third place game, they lost to Pinedale 55-43. Elon Bowers went off for 35 points in that game.
Yeah, speaking of great players.
Great players. And just another 20-plus win season for Lady Buffaloes. They go 21-7 on the year. Nothing to hang your head low on.
No, absolutely
20
not.
win seasons in high school basketball and at any level
is
are
amazing.
Outstanding. That is an outstanding accomplishment that you could go into someone's house or win on your own home floor numerous times. And, of course, leave Casper. Yeah, you finish fourth place. You lose in the third place game. But still an amazing season. They're going to be returning the majority of their squad next year. Addison Hickey and McKinley Cove are both going to be seniors. Charlie Porter's going to be a senior as well. And they got a good group of just young underclassmen behind them. The Lady Buffaloes are going to be back next year.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. All right. That is going to do it for our state tournament wrap-up. When we come back, the 3A West and the 4A West all-conference awards were announced. We got some people to talk about. It's going to be fun. You don't want to miss it. You're tuned in to Homefield Advantage live on mylocalradio.com, online, and on the radio at KNYN and KADQ.
Life is better in the country. KNYN, Fort Bridger, Evanston, Woodruff, 99.1. The country you want to be in.
Hey there, I'm Jake Major, your local Medicare and insurance benefits advisor for the Bullock Agency of Wyoming. With over 25 years of experience protecting families in rural America, we understand the importance of having affordable insurance coverage. Whether you're searching for extra coverage or looking to understand and switch your Medicare options, I can help you find a range of top-rated insurance companies and tailor-made packages based on your needs. Call me, Jake Major, today at 307-209-4685 and let's discuss your insurance options. We're the Bullock Agency of Wyoming when benefits matter.
If you've never heard a mechanic say they truly care, then you've been at the wrong place. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff is a family-owned and operated business open since 1992. Offering all types of maintenance and repair services, you can be sure your vehicle is operating at its best. Whether your vehicle is older or the newest model, gas or diesel, we fix and maintain them all. Also offering chip repair, windshield replacement, and tires. When your vehicle needs a mechanic, bring it to the ones who truly care. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff.
Founded in 1938 with the hopes and dreams of serving the Bridger Valley, Benedict's Trading Company was started. Now 85 years and 3 generations later, Benedict's Market is still serving the Bridger Valley by offering the highest quality meats and fresh produce to having fresh baked items and hot deli options. Benedict's Market is your one stop for all of your grocery needs. Benedict's Market offers the best services in a modern setting to make your shopping both quick and easy. Visit them today at 950 North Highway 414, Mountain View, Wyoming.
And we welcome you back to Homefield Advantage, brought to you by our friends at Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, coming to you live from the Union Broadcast and Les Schwab Plains Tires Broadcast Studio. Also, a big thank you to our broadcast presenting sponsor for Evanston and Bridger Valley. That would be First Bank of Wyoming. And for Rich,
T7 Propane.
So a big thank you to them. We cannot do these broadcasts without their support. All right, gentlemen, the 3A and 4A West all conference was released. Let's kick it off with 3A West girls. So your player of the year, I'll give you 3 guesses on who it is, and the first 2 don't count.
In the West?
Yeah, 3A West.
Is it Elon Bowers?
It would be Elon Bowers of Pinedale. The juniors, your player of the year.
A lottery ticket.
Yeah, 3A West team for Lyman, Briley Bradshaw, and Paige Rose. For Mountain View, McKinley Covelo and Addison Hickey.
couldn't have gone even more correct with those picks right there. Bradshaw stepped up huge when Ashton Wells went down with her season-ending injury, and Rose was that heart and soul of the Lyman Lady Eagles, and then going to the Mountain View Lady Buffaloes. Hickey and Covelo, both juniors, going to be back next year, and both of those players were major contributors and averaging over 15 points a game for the Lady Buffaloes. So well-deserved for those four.
In the 4A West, Evanston doesn't get any all-conference nods, but the player of the year is, no surprise, Cody Molly Hayes.
Molly Hayes is just a terrific basketball player. I saw, she's easily over the 1,500 career mark on points. I saw a Wild Preps article earlier this year that said that. And just an amazing player, and was one of the main leaders on the Cody team.
In the 3A West, your player of the year is Powell's Brock Johnson. We'll be talking a lot more about him this summer.
What can't that kid do?
I know, right? He hits the go-ahead home run in the state championship baseball game, and now he's the player of the year in the 3A West. Again, we'll be talking a lot more about him in the sport that he really is kind of focused on.
Fun fact, Brock had the game-winning assist to the game-winning shot for Powell to win the 3A West regional title. So Brock he's winning at everything.
Yeah. For the Lyman Eagles, one name on the 3A West, it's Caleb Smith. And for Mountain View, one name, it's Colt Henry.
Yeah. Starting with Caleb, he had such a big year last year. He didn't see much minutes and averaged a double-double per game for the Lyman Eagles. As Colt Henry, he is a small, quick guard, but also just the heart and soul of this team. There'd be times where it would look like Mountain View was down and out, and Colt will go into that bench huddle saying, hey, do this, do that. Hey, we're still in this. And plenty of times the Buffaloes came from behind and won games because of Colt. And sometimes Colt will take the game in his own hands and just nail clutch three-pointers, and was all over the place on the defensive side as well.
In the 4A West, you look at our player of the year, and he does it 2 years in a row. It's Riverton's Parker Paxton. You got a chance to see him up close and personal.
Yeah, I got to see his final high school varsity basketball game because Riverton and Jackson were in the consolation bracket. They played each other, and him and Andrew Hanna kind of had a duel back and forth. Parker Paxton went up for 30 points. Hanna went up for 29. And it's just crazy the different ways that Paxton scores. He obviously has a good three-point shot. We all know that. But he floats in the lane, hangs, bangs with the big guys, finishes over them. He can finish in every single way. It is just super impressive.
Theron Archibald of Green River is your defensive player of the year, which that is well earned. I got a chance to see him. He is the how he goes, that Green River team goes, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future with him.
He uses his length to his great advantage. I mean, a lot of times you see high school kids that have the length he does. They're not real sure how to use it yet, but Archibald seems like he had figured that out last year when I saw him play, and let alone he's figuring it out again this year.
For the Evanston Red Devils, they get 2 4A West Conference team members, Kai Barker of Evanston and Clayton Cook, and I've been saying it all year. I do not foresee a world where Clayton Cook is not on that all-conference team. He thoroughly dominated in games in the 4A West this year.
And watching Cook play when they played the Buffaloes, he can shoot from anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I remember Cook just nailing hook shot after hook shot after hook shot, and then also some three-point shots as well. He's such a great all-around player for the Red Devils.
And then Kai Barker, of course, just an all-around athlete. He's been getting it done for years. So it was very, very impressive to kind of see his basketball career and just kind of see how he came as a freshman already partially what he was, and then just took it to the next level these last 2 years.
And it's great to see when a player can come into a program and say, hey, here's what I can do. And then himself and the coaches both grow together, but also the player grows himself and can develop more and more and more. And when they leave high school, they are just a great person and a great athlete.
Absolutely. And that is going to do it for our first off. Congratulations to all of our 4A West and 3A West all conference award winners and all conference team members. It was a fun basketball season, but on Thursday we move on to soccer. Cannot wait for that. As on Thursday we'll have final interviews with Coach Rob Watsabaugh and Roy Barker, as well as the Mountain View coaches Jess Moretti, Dustin Reese.
And then lineman coaches Jason Hansen, and Barry Hill.
And Barry Hill, thank you. I'm Elon Off.
I'm Aaron Poling.
Anthony Colasino.
And we will see you guys next time. This has been Homefield Advantage, brought to you by our friends with Jake Major and the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital.